Hello and welcome. This is the Roar broadcast live from the bottom of Hubbard Hall on the lovely Casanova College campus. I am your host, as always, Patrick Smith, and with me is my esteemed colleague, Kevin Ingram.
Yep, I'm here again. Where are we? Up to episode 10?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really feel like 10 weeks, though.
No, it's going fast. It's been fun. It's been a fun ride.
This is a good mini milestone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 10th episode.
Double digits.
So today, we have our big episode coming up the next 2 weeks. We're going to talk about that later. But today we have our last showing of the standard style we like to do things with men's lacrosse, women's lacrosse, baseball, softball, and equestrian, followed by our Par Nos segment. So first, we're going to start with talking about men's lacrosse. We're going to recap the game against Badai and preview some games coming up. The Route 20 rivalry, that is the men's lacrosse fashion, that is tomorrow night. And then we're going to preview the game against Hilbert. Then move it over to women's lacrosse with Kevin.
Yeah, well, with women's lacrosse, we're going to definitely talk about their very successful weekend. The game against Bryn Athens, which was on April 16th. And we're going to touch on the game against Penn State Abington, which was on April 17th. So we're definitely going to recap those two games because those were two very big games for them this season. And we're going to also preview their upcoming game against Wells College, Lancaster Bible, and St. Elizabeth. So they still have a long way to go. And we also have an interview, a good old interview. I love interviews.
Yeah. So then we're going to go into baseball, and they actually are playing now. So we have a lot of stuff to touch on with that, recap some games that happened over the weekend, and preview the upcoming games against Oswego State, Oneonta, and both Penn State, Abington, and Berks. And then we're going to get into softball. So what do you have for that, Kev?
Softball. They get to play now, too, also. No interruption. But with softball, we're going to touch on their games this past week that happened, the SUNY Cobbleskills and Route 20 rivalry game at Morrisville. We're also going to touch on their SUNY Canton game, which happened, too. And we're going to preview their upcoming games against SUNY Poly, Skidmore, and they have to play Penn Tech twice on 2 different days. But these are all doubleheader games, so it'll be a very interesting weekend, I feel like, for softball.
Yeah, and then we're going to get right into equestrian and talk about the upcoming IDA Nationals. That is the quiz challenge. We're going to preview that a little bit and then get into our Par Nos segment. We have a lot of stuff going on for that. We'll get Kevin's input on that. And then, so without further ado, we're going to get into...
Well, before we go, we also have to touch on softball's KUKA game, which I forgot to mention, which, if I'm correct, is on April 24th and 25th.
Oh, yeah,
so
you're right.
Softball actually it's a bigger weekend than I thought it was, but they have a big weekend coming up, so definitely. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, and then we have our first guest coming in here in a few minutes. I'm not sure what time she'll be down, but you won't want to miss that. She is kicking off our next 2 weeks. We have a special program planned, so we'll talk about that after she comes in.
I'm really happy that this guest is coming in.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first guest that we're going to have coming in that's coming twice.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first time, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep, so without further ado, we're going to get into men's lacrosse until she shows up. So without further ado, it's our first music break of the day. Okay, so welcome back, folks. Before we get into our first interview of the day, we're going to touch on equestrian a little bit, just to preview what's coming up for them. This next weekend, the 23rd and the 24th, which I believe is Saturday and Sunday, we have some members of our dressage team competing in the USDF/IDA Quiz Challenge at the IDA Nationals. This, I believe, is down in New Jersey, I believe. And some of the people competing in that are Taylor Bass, Kim Bowden, Catherine Meyer, and Alex Belton. What they basically do down there is they get tested on how well they know the actual discipline, which is dressage, how well they know what goes into it, how to make their horse look presentable, how to make themselves look presentable. So it's basically a big test almost. And if they do well enough, they win scholarships, they win prizes. So good luck to them competing down there.
I wonder, Pat, is our equestrian team the most, I want to say, successful or high? Who achieves the most success out of all of our sports teams?
I don't know.
Equestrian? I don't know. I feel like it's hard to judge for the simple fact that they all have different requirements.
And they're individual.
They're individual. Their seasons change.
Yeah.
And also look at team sizes too. You know, I want to say it's sort of equestrian, but then you have to take in consideration equestrian is just one team, but they're also broken out into 3 different sections.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean,
I guess you can sort of weigh all their success in one because they are technically one team, just different units. You know.
I mean, I would say either that it'd be a toss up between them and probably swimming and diving.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I mean, back-to-back NEAC champions for at least the women side of it.
That's in back-to-back men's swimmer of the year.
I think you gotta count everything into it. I mean, season records, who finished where, players of the year.
And
I think
equestrian season is also long.
Yeah.
They have the longest season because they're an indoor sport and they're all throughout the year. They're indoor and outdoor, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at least they ride somewhat outside. I don't know if they compete outside, but
yeah, but you know, taking that all into consideration, it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
But definitely shout out to our equestrian department.
Definitely.
They're not spoke about too much around campus.
No, but they should.
Yeah, they should get a little bit more. I mean, but then again, we have the Roar, so I mean.
We talk about them enough.
We talk about them.
So now to preview what's coming up the next 2 weeks. We're having our special guest when she comes in. She's kind of setting it up for the next 2 weeks. We're having what we call a senior special, and she just actually walked in the door, so we're going to get her in a minute. But basically what we're trying to do is give our seniors that we haven't talked to on the Roar yet and haven't got their moment of fame on here. We want to give them a moment to shine, ask them a couple questions, figure out what makes them tick. So we're going to have some fall, winter, and spring athletes all come in the next 2 weeks following this episode.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's just interviews. So no more of this constant stuff where it's records and who did what in the games. It's just going to be interviews. We know people like those. And it'll be held by myself and Kevin. We'll each split the weeks. So we'll each get, I think, 5 or 6 a week.
Yeah.
So now, without further ado, we have our first guest of the day. Do you want to do a quick break?
Yeah,
get her set up.
One. Yeah, play a little song for warm up too.
Okay.
I got something.
So stay tuned.
Okay, we're back, ladies and gentlemen, for that slight music malfunction down here in good old Hover Hall. So we're gonna get right into our wonderful interview. Special guest is coming back in again, and you know she's returning, and we're excited. She's been I don't want to say harassing us, but she's definitely been more excited, I think, than we have here at the Roar about coming back in because she just enjoyed it so much. So I'm gonna go ahead and have her introduce herself again. I thought you didn't need an introduction,
You know what? People hear the voice and they automatically associate it with the name. It's Tatiana, you guys.
Yeah, she's back, and you know I had to play some. Back at it again. Had to play some Beyonce for her when she was coming in because, of course, you know they
know me as B.
Yeah, you basically are a Queen B. I can see you being a Queen B.
Thank you.
You Queen T instead. How about that?
I mean, whatever works for you as long as you know the name.
Alright, so Tati, you want to come back in and you have a special announcement that you sort of want to
man.
shout
out.
out.
A lot of people don't know that I'm a rapper. I really rap. I do the comedy thing, it comes natural to me, but I love music. I'm a rapper.
Yeah, music, I don't know. I like music better than comedy.
Coming from me or in general?
Just in general. I love a good comedy,
Absolutely.
Bernie was good.
Bernie Mac.
Yeah, Bernie Mac.
God bless him. He was one of my idols.
Yes.
You ever watch one of his old Jam?
It was very strange. I was talking to my mother here at college one day, and we were talking about Bernie Mac, and she was like, "Yo, you gotta watch his first ever Def Jam, his first ever one, the one that really put him on the map." Yo, and I mean, I had seen mini clips of it or whatever, but I never watched the whole entire thing full. So I run back to my dorm room. I'm like, "Yo, Mom Dukes is saying," I was
I gotta
watch it. It's Bernie. So I ran back and I watched it. Yo, right off the bat, he had me
in tears.
crying.
It was his wole approach about it. He's like,
Yeah.
"I'm scared of y'all."
Yeah.
And he was just standing there, and it was natural. That's how you know, humor or a sense of humor. It's not cultivated. It's either you have it or you're not. You really cannot practice funny.
Yeah.
And he was genuinely, he didn't even do anything. He was just standing there dancing around. Had me dying.
I feel he probably liked that at family gatherings too. He probably was.
He would be the worst at a family reunion just because, that's when you eat and drink a lot. drinking all this Kool-Aid and soda and whatnot, and then Cousin Bernie come around making you almost have to pee on yourself. I don't think I would really be that close with
But
them.
yeah, that is definitely a classic. So if you haven't seen it, Bernie Mac Def Jam, the video that put him on the map, the comedy show that put him on the map, that started him off, you know, and had us laughing for years on afterwards. And even till this day, when you rewatch some of his movies and some of his films and his comedy skits.
Life, him in Life.
Oh. So we're definitely, we're going to get back into it. All right, so what made you, how much have you been rapping, actually? I should ask.
Okay, so I've been rapping, like, for real, since I was 12.
Okay.
But I thought about it since I was 9. I just didn't know. I couldn't spell that good back then, so I was just chill.
So you had to give it some time? Be like, oh!
Yeah. I was like, the cat in the hat, and the mouse and the cat. You know what I'm saying? That was like my first mixtape right there, you know. That's in the store soon.
Bars for days. But I'm pretty sure music has always been in your life, probably since...
Yeah, you know, I started dancing since I learned how to walk. Like, fortunately, my mom doesn't know. She doesn't have any rhythm. I think I get it from my dad's side of the family. And I just always been in tune. And then, I don't know, my brother would always come home listening to, like, Jay-Z. And I was like, listen to this album, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I have no idea what they're saying. So I would, like, study them and, like, figure out what they're saying. And, like, Nas is, like, the greatest storyteller of all time.
Yeah, definitely. He's up there with the legends.
And once you understand some Nas, I feel like you're enlightened.
Oh, yeah, you're definitely
blessed. So I'm just like, I think I can do that. And then, you know, as I've gotten older, I've just been trying. But now I'm just...
taking it more serious.
Yeah, man. Like, gotta do this.
I think with music like that, how you spoke about, you know, when you're younger, listening to artists, and you're just like, what are they? Like, they're either... You can either tell they're rapping fast, or they're rapping, like, at a moderate level. But, like, once you get older and you, like, re-listening to those records...
like... I was listening to Dead Presidents by Nas and Jay-Z, and I knew all the words. I had no idea what they were talking about. And I listened to it again when I was 12, and I'm like, this is crazy. And it's like every time I hear it, I pick up something else, so I have a new meaning to something. Like, what is life?
So would you say, which style of hip-hop would you say you like better, today's or yesterday's?
Oh, man. I feel like everything, there's a time and a place for everything.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like, just like in the Renaissance, they was listening to violins and stuff, and we would never get down to that. That's what they had at the time. So, you know, my favorite group, I want to say, of the 90s is Naughty by Nature, because they, you know, all around Harlem taking their videos and all that.
They live up to their name as Naughty by Nature.
They was naughty, all right. But, you know, I love that, and I just love, like, they were the essence of the 90s. It was like that raw, that raunchy, we broke, but we rhyme in our spare time kind of thing.
I try and, talk to, I know you know who Jay is. Yeah, and me and him always talk about music. And, you know, back then, you know, it was more like, I want to say more like community oriented, more family.
Definitely.
You know, yes, they were in it, you know, for the money and a little bit of the fame. But, you know, at the end of the day, they just wanted to, like, prove something.
Well, back then, too, they didn't know rap was going to take... Like Biggie said, I never thought it could happen, this rap and stuff. Like, you never knew how far it was going to take you. You just knew, I like to rhyme to a beat, and that's all I'm hearing. Everything that I'm going through, everything I'm saying.
And we just rhymed on the beat, whether it was on the corner, in front of the corner store.
Exactly.
That's Biggie's first biggest video. It's not even a video, actually, but, I mean, the way it's played, you would think it was an actual music video.
Right.
The first ever live streaming of him rapping. You know, or rapping in the park. You know, you have many rappers that are like, yo, we just used to do this in the cafeteria when we was in the park.
That's how it is for me. Like, growing up, like, remember everybody used to get light? We used to get light. We used to dance. We used to rap. We just wanted to make noise. We wanted to be seen and heard. So it was just like, and me to transition into a rapper was really nothing.
It really was.
Everything was practice up until this point. That's how I feel. Like, every talent show, every me banging in the cafeteria with the beat, all of this was practice. Like, I was just...
It was gearing up, you didn't even know it.
I didn't even know it. I just started rapping. I don't know. I'm like, oh my god.
So about the mixtape, what can you sort of tell us? You know, give us a little sneak peek about the mixtape.
Sneak peek.
Like how many tracks is on it?
You know, all of that is to be determined. There's no features. That's one thing. There is no features. It is all me. And I know a lot of dope artists, like, you know, local, from home, people I met in school. I know a lot of dope people that can spit, that can really rap. But I personally didn't want anyone else on my mixtape because I wanted you guys to hear me.
And it's also your first project, your first major project.
Exactly. So it's just like, you know, I'm already like in talk of the second one. Because, you know, it's a lot of people I really want to work with. But I just wanted everyone to understand who I am as an artist before I, you know, get anybody else on my tune. So it's kind of me being selfish for once. Like, I need you to listen to me. But I'm releasing it in 2 parts. So the first part drops this Friday.
It's Friday.
Yeah, everybody
Couple
gonna
of
hit that
days.
link. Yeah, you got 3 days, guys. Let's count down to history.
Be glad she pushed that mixtape back, yo. Remember Lil Kim? What record was it? It was Notorious, and it was her, Diddy, and Biggie on it. And I remember her verse. She was like, "Be glad I pushed the album back, yo. I did y'all a favor."
Right. I hate to do it, and you know what I think is hilarious. So I'm dropping it April 22nd is my grandfather's birthday. So
happy birthday to Grandpa!
Right. So I'm just like, yeah, I gotta do this one for Leroy. That's what I gotta do, but. Beyonce is actually releasing a documentary on HBO.
What is it? Lemonade.
Lemonade. I'm telling you, I'm really being like we work and like simultaneously. Like you see how I lined up the mixtape. You got something to jam to while you watching the movie. Like that's it. Like we're on the same wave. Like
do you have a title of the mixtape, or is it just the mixtape?
So that's exactly what it is. It's the mixtape. So it's entitled The New Testament.
The New Testament. Now, what made you come up with that name, then?
You know, my name has some Bible references, and the New Testament is basically me revising what I think rap should be, what my rap style is. So, it's the New Testament, new gospel.
New style, new sound, new everything.
Will that.
You think they're ready?
I can only hope so. I mean, you might have to play it out loud. Might burn your ears. You listen to it in the headphones.
I know. I'm really excited. I've heard people sort of buzzing about it on campus. I remember hearing about it, and they was like, Tati dropping a mixtape. And I was just like, everybody always joking about like mixtape this, mixtape that. Like when you drop a good tweet, everybody like, I'm gonna put this on the mixtape. It's just like the new it thing to sort of say. Right. But the fact that you're really dropping it, I mean, it speaks volumes, and I'm really excited. I'm actually proud that you're doing that. And you decided you want to come to the Roar and talk about it.
I gotta show love. Yeah, I show love. I gotta show love.
I mean, it's only right. That's sort of why we have this set up. I mean, yes, we sort of talk about all things sports, but I think it's really dope when other students, whether they are actual athletes or non-athletes, want to come in and just chill and talk to us about their mixtape. So I must ask you, you blow up.
Yeah.
You do it big. Can you list like 3 artists you would like hands down? I'm pretty sure you have you had a list longer than Santa Claus, and you can have any artist you want with, dead or alive. But 3 artists that you would love to work with, like hands down, if you can pick up the phone and they can't say no.
Now, I would love to.
I'll take Beyonce off the list because I already know
That's
she's.
automatic.
I already know she's at least top 1
even.
and 2
Facts.
already. But so I give you like 3 other choices besides just Beyonce.
Nas, I would love to rap with him. Wow. T.I.
Okay.
I feel like he's very underrated, and you're not respecting it, and I'm not feeling it at all. I would love to work with T.I. Oh my god. And I think Little Kim. She showed me how to do it. Like, it's nothing to be said.
I'm so happy you said Little Kim and you chose another female. I was waiting for that last person. I'm like, please tell me she's going to choose a female.
Oh, and definitely she paved the way.
She paved the way. There are a number of females that have paved the way. And
Missy Elliott. I feel like I would have to work with them at the same
time. Same time? So that's automatic banger right there.
Automatic.
You know it's going.
Like, that's it.
But, it sucks because... we had a very big point where there was a lot of female rappers.
Right.
It was definitely like that 90s coming into the 2000s. We had and they say it in stats, that's the only time we've ever had so many female rappers. Before that, it was just like MC Lyte, and she sort of had her own era. And, Queen Latifah, she sort of had her own era. And it was just like really small amount. It was only about 2 or 3, if that.
Right.
And then we got into the 90s, and it was just all these female rappers. And early 2000s, all these female rappers. And it sucks.
Faded out.
Yeah, it sucks today when you don't hear them. And
it's sad that people only know 1 or 2 people thinking that's really rap, and it's just like you don't even know where they get their inspiration from. It's like you buying a knockoff dress. You haven't seen the original design yet.
Yep.
So you respect it, but you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
So.
But I think that goes for our rappers across the board, whether it's male or females. There are, like, DMX. Like, I understand he's sort of been having trouble, lately or whatever.
I would love to work with
him.
But,
I mean, I'm just like, why don't this artist of today, throw DMX on a track? Or
I would love that. My first
DMX
album in
on
my
a record
heart is going to be with a bunch of them. I want nobody new, unless Nas drops an album right now. I want nobody of current time. Like, I can't.
like our '90s rappers are just it's like they get the shout out, but like I want to hear them on a record. And I've come to the conclusion I've now accepted. I don't know if other people do. I think it's the fact that they're scared.
You know what? I completely understand where you're coming from, and I honestly can't speak for anyone else, but it just makes me think, like, would you necessarily put somebody on your team better than you that's going to take away your MVP spotlight?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I can't honestly answer that question. Like, if you better than me, do I really want you on a track? And then that means I need to work. I need to do better.
But you see, that's what the hip hop game was sort of built off of. When it was Fabian in the park, dropping out bars, you went first, and then the other dude was going to try and beat you. So then when he came back around, you got to go 10 times harder. And I think that's what made hip hop so legendary and so strong and so powerful with his words and his wisdom and his messages that it delivered across the. It was the fact that they all pushed each other, and not so much in a negative way. It was in a positive way. It was just like,
you know what?
Build yourself up.
You're my friend. You doing good, and as your friend, I want you to do better. Like that's literally what it is. Like we all in college. Well, when I graduate, I hope you graduate too. I hope you get good grades. Because me outshining you is not going to take away your spotlight. You know what I mean? Like, let's shine together. Like,
I mean, that's what makes it. And I think that's what the hip hop was sort of built off of. And But then again, when you list a lot of the rappers that we've been talking about, they gonna make you rewrite your stuff at least 4 or 5 times.
You know what? I would just be so self-conscious, like, to rap with certain people, because it's just like, how about you go first, and then I'm gonna write mine after, because I need to see what kind of heat you throwing. Like, I don't know. I said, get some matches. You pulled out the whole gas tank, blew it up. Now I gotta go reevaluate who I am and how my mother raised me.
But there are still some rappers who still talk about that. I remember Remy Ma, when she did her first record coming out, she did it with like DJ Khaled, Jada Kiss, and there was another third artist on there, and I can't remember their name, unfortunately. And Remy, in an interview, she was like, they said they wanted me to jump on this record. Jada Kiss was on it. And then she was like, I already got to know when Jada Kiss getting on, you're going to have to come hard.
Exactly.
And, and I think his first verse he threw in, he sent them or whatever, she had heard it, and she was like, nah, I got to redo it. And I mean, that speaks volume. It doesn't mean that she's a horrible rapper. It just
means I need to step my game up. Like, you literally just took it to a whole different place that I didn't even know existed. So I need to reevaluate where I'm going.
Yep.
You can't buy a bus ticket to go to Miami and then take the plane to, I don't know, Tennessee. That's 2 different places.
Like, no, you can't do that. I mean, you have multiple rappers that do that. I remember Busta did the same thing in a track he did with Eminem called Calm Down. And they said that they spent months working on that record because they each would send one back and forth to each other. They said that they had a specific dude on a flash drive or what's the little component thing that people use? Hard drive, yes, a hard drive. And they would legit send him back and forth between them two because they would like repeatedly send back bars and bars. They got over like 100 or something, 200 something bars, and they had to end up breaking it down. But I mean, that's how hard that they pushed each other. And those are 2 legends. Like when you sit in the barbershop and you debate about legends, Eminem and Busta Rhymes come up. So that speaks volumes if they can do it to themselves.
Facts.
Are you excited about the mixtape?
Am I excited?
Are you nervous?
The thing is that I hold rap very dear to my heart, and I don't rap in front of people for a reason. It's not that I'm shy. Everybody knows I'm not shy. I just feel like that's my bread and butter. That's my pride and joy. So if you don't like what I'm saying, how am I going to deal with that? But I have
it comes with the territory.
Yeah, I have strength in my style, spitting hot fire.
Yeah, you definitely are one of the strongest females I hear talk about on this campus. Your poise, the way you carry yourself,
I mean, there's only one me, So what could I do?
Alright, so we're going to take a quick break. I'm really happy you came in, Tati.
Thanks for having me.
Why didn't you have a radio show, may I ask?
I'm booked. I'm out here trying to get these mixtapes, trying to get this channel, trying to move to LA, do my thing,
I definitely want to, you're going to have to share the link and stuff, or I don't know how you're going to distribute it with us here at the Roar. We're going to have to tweet about it, Pat. And, I'm definitely going to retweet it and check it out. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be talked about all over Kaz. So what's next for Tati? Mixtapes and...
Mixtape.
You graduate in a few days. Countdown. You excited? Feel old?
I've been feeling old for a long time. Way before any of this ever happened. It's like I woke up one day like, I'm a senior. Who put that there? Like, it's crazy.
Like, where was I when this was going down?
I wasn't paying attention. I don't know where I was at, but I wasn't at that meeting. That's all I know. But it's all good.
Okay.
Good things coming.
All right, last question before we leave. And I'm saying this because, you just Tati now. In like a couple of years, you might be sitting front row at the Grammys.
That's the plan.
Or whatever. Promise me. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to ask a question. I just want you to make a promise here on the Roar.
Correct.
Always write your own raps, please.
I put that on my life. If my grandmother did not raise me right, I promise to always have my own original content because I'm dope enough to do that.
That's right.
Promise.
And that's what Tati is. She's the dopest.
Dope. Straight dope.
Thank you for coming out, Tati. I think I have a good record. I think this would be a good song to sort of put on for like you're going. I know you're busy. I'm going to get back to the mixtape. Like I'm pretty sure it's sort of done, but I'm pretty sure you're going to still critique it. You're going to critique it and do whatever. But I'm really excited and proud of you. We're proud of you here at the Roar, so shout out to you. Here's a nice little record maybe for Tati. I hope she like it. So thank you. We'll be back. Music break.
Okay, welcome back, folks. That was a really good interview.
Yeah,
glad she came on.
Cause she's a lot of fun. She's a really chill person to talk to.
Yeah,
I feel like if she had a radio show, it would be really good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she knows she's a really how can we describe? I don't know. It's just words.
Charismatic.
Definitely. Oh yeah, definitely.
That's the word that came to mind. Just listening to the interview.
Yeah, she definitely has positive energy and very humble person, and she's real easy to talk to.
Definitely.
I mean, I feel like if you haven't run across Tati, then you've really been like living under a rock here at Kaz.
Yeah, as long as you're at Kaz, you know who she is.
Oh yeah, you know who Tati is.
So now getting back into men's lacrosse, they are currently 5-5, and they are 3-1 in conference. To recap the game that just happened recently, it was a 23-4 win for the Wildcats. This was a more on the easy side of the thing. And it was played on April 15th. It was in front of 61 people. And this game, freshman Shay Ames had 4 goals and 2 assists on the day. Keenan Mahoney had 3 goals. Brandon Maxon had 2 goals and 10 assists. Eric Hanover, Kyle Kingsley, Ben Wilson, and Rob Ted all had 2. And then Joe Tim, Chris Hoover, Jeff Bain, Mike Mall, Joe Harrison, and Casey Trejo each had 1 goal apiece themselves. And Logan Blunt got the big start in goal, and he made 7 saves in 60 minutes, but he only faced 11 shots, let 4 of them go in. So still good numbers for a goalie. Madai was led by Tony Canodi, who had 2 goals. We opened the game with 5 goals in the first quarter, a 10-goal second, and then cruised to the win by outscoring them 8-2 in the second half. So it was an overall great win. Looking at some of the main stats on the day, the shots on goal was 31-11 advantage and 34-23 in ground balls for Cass. One of the big things Kev has been talking about the past couple weeks has been penalties. It was 8-3 in this game, so not any better. Even against a bad opponent, we still get penalties.
I don't know. Why are they always so touchy? Where like majority of them in the third quarter? Yeah, because I know
pretty much. Yeah. At least a couple.
That's where they always rack up at. They start off first, second, like pretty smooth or whatever, and for some strange reason, in the third quarter, they just like managed to rack up some more. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why can't they just keep their hands together? Like, look, this is a blowout game. 23-4. You know, in favor
wasn't
of them.
Close at all.
It wasn't close. Why you gotta be so touchy? Why are you still racking up the most penalties?
I don't know.
That's something you would expect of the other team that is in opposition.
Want to come back.
Yeah, maybe they get frustrated and want to come back. But the fact that you're up and you have to be rough, that just sort of makes you look like a bully. I'm just being honest.
True. It is true. So one thing that we're going to touch on in a minute, this game sets us up perfectly for the game against Morrisville. And it was the first game without Joe Delia. He wasn't at the game. We're untold what the reason why was. But Brandon Maxon stepped into his role, though, had 10 assists on the day, so took over that mantle of running the offense. And it kickstarted our offense, and it matched our defensive output on the day. I mean, offense and defense were both clicking. And, Kev, I have kind of a question for you. Is Logan Blunt the new face of Cazenovia Wildcats in goal after this one? Or is it still Delavan's spot?
Nah. You still gotta work your way. You still gotta work your way up. I mean, people say what determines a champion isn't how much like he or she obtains the championship is
Yeah.
how they defend it. So, he's now been goalie for 2 games. And, he still has a little way. He's also a freshman, so he has some time.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see what happens after this weekend against Morrisville.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be a really big determination since it's our big Route 20 rivalry. I've been to Morrisville once in the past week or so, and I had run-in with some of their men's lacrosse team, and I know they're definitely looking for it. They knew when Kaz was in the building, and they're looking forward to his upcoming game, I think, as much as we are. So we'll see how Logan do this weekend.
Yeah. So without further ado, it is the Route 20 rivalry renewed. This is the men's lacrosse version. We've had softball version. Baseball, that doesn't happen. Morrisville doesn't have baseball. We've had the women's lacrosse. We've had basketball. This is the men's lacrosse one. Last time they played, it was an 11-1 loss for our Wildcats. This was in the semifinals of NEAX. This was at their place. And it just wasn't a good showing at all for our Wildcats. So they're looking to rebound. And this is the biggest game on the schedule. Will this game live up to the hype?
I don't know. Because, the reason why I say I don't know is I was actually there for that game last year, which was their last game of the season, 11-1, so I saw them get the loss. By the way, side note, Morrisville had very good music that day with their number of goals shot. But back to the subject. See what happens this year. Our freshmen have been stepping up, so maybe that might play a big role in this weekend's game.
Yeah.
We have Logan Blount in goal. He's been doing pretty good so far, done a decent amount. I know, speaking to other athletes and other people, I feel like that he did better than what they expected.
Oh, yeah.
I
would imagine.
So we're definitely going to see how that turns out. It's going to be Logan Blount, who has only heard about probably the rivalry so much or whatever, but
he's
hasn't
never
yet
played,
experienced
and
it.
he will.
And that's what's going to make a difference in this matchup. So it's
Yeah.
definitely going to live up to the hype. It's a Route 20 rivalry anytime you match up with them. I feel like if we wanted to compare horses, it would be a very big deal because we're just that big of rivals. So.
With everything, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the big storylines with this game is Morrisville right now is ranked number 2 in the standings, and we are 3. So this is going to be huge when it comes playoff time because the winner of the 2 games gets to be the home seed for that game because Cuca is the number 1 and most likely will stay there if Morrisville or us doesn't knock them off. We already lost to them once this year. So this has a lot of hidden agendas in the game. It's more than just simply a game for this one. Can we get revenge from last year? Can our offense get to their goalie, which is Chris Fiore? He was last year's Defensive Player of the Year. He's a terrific goalie, but I think our offense can get to him. We scored 23 on Madai's goalie. We can get a couple on this guy.
We'll have to shake him up.
Yeah.
Have to shake him up.
Oh, yeah. Get him off his game early, and then we'll see what happens. And one thing we mentioned is we've recently had success. Softball's had 2 wins against them here in the past couple weeks. The women's lacrosse had a terrific win over them. We can't say it enough how good that game was. Can we continue the streak of Kaz over Morrisville?
Oh, that's so much pressure added on, I feel like, because they know. So I think that's going to be a lot of pressure. And anytime you have a matchup with Morrisville, no matter what sports, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're sort of at the end of this seed, with our women's lacrosse team already playing and our softball already playing with them, they're just like the end, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the showdown goes to. It's like added on pressure for them in a weird way. That wasn't even meant to be.
It just happens.
Fate.
Yep. So this game is home. This is tomorrow night. I believe the game is set for 4 o'clock. So if you guys are in the area, we want a packed house because, listen, it's Morrisville. This only happens once a year at our place. So we need all the fan support we can get. The Roar will be there. I think both of us are planning on going because we wouldn't miss that for the world. And I personally missed the last time Kaz and Morrisville played for the women. So I definitely want to be here in full force for this game. So then, to take a step back, after this game, we play Saturday at Hilbert. The last time we played was an 18-9 loss for the Wildcats. But this team, these 2 teams recently played each other. Morrisville won pretty convincingly. So how will the post-Morrisville season look like after this game? Will it be a successful one following the win or a rebound following the loss? We'll find out tomorrow. Will we get revenge from last year? And will Delavan be back for this game? We're hoping he's back for Morrisville, but if not, I think the timetable is set. He possibly will be back for the Hilbert game. So we'll keep our fingers crossed here. We hope for a speedy recovery with that. But what do you think about these last couple games here, Kev?
Our men's lacrosse team?
Yeah.
They've been, they sort of have momentum on their side, and they've had a pretty long break, I would say, to practice and reassemble themselves and prepare for Morrisville. I know when I went to our women's lacrosse game at Morrisville, some of our men's lacrosse players also attended.
Mm-hmm.
And, their men's lacrosse team was also there. So, both presidents were definitely out there in the bleachers, and they know it's coming, we know it's coming, and it's just a matter of time. You can't delay it any longer. So,
yeah,
it's going to be something to look forward to and watch out for.
Yeah.
And I think I'm definitely going to try and see what our freshmen do. Our freshmen is Joe Tim, Shay Ames, and Logan, who's playing goalie.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't really scheduled for Logan to play goalie. It just sort of happened due
kind
to
of fell into it.
events.
But he's playing well. I watched him the game against Madai, and he seemed like he was confident in there. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I think that was a very good warm-up game.
Mm-hmm.
I know his first game was against Cuca, which is probably pretty tough. That's also like our number 2 rival right there, and that was a pretty big game to throw him in. That's like saying you get drafted in and you get thrown into the championship game or whatever. But he was able to come down, walk away with whatever he learned from probably Cuca, and then went into the Madai game and did very well. And so we're going to see what's going to happen with Morrisville.
Yeah. So good luck to our men's lacrosse team on the upcoming games. We're going to take a break, and then Kevin's going to be on the main mic with talking about women's lacrosse. We'll see how their weekend went because they had a terrific weekend again. Our women's lacrosse team keeps surprising us here at the Roar. So we're going to get you filled
they're
in.
Surprising everybody across the athletic department. I can't wait to sort of talk about them.
Very
interesting.
So we're going to have a quick break and then get right into women's lacrosse. So stay tuned.
Oh, there we go. A little Usher to sort of come back, start talking about women's lacrosse team. I remember when that album dropped. That was a good album. All right, so now for women's lacrosse team. Overall, they are currently sitting at 5-4. In conference, they are 3-0. And that speaks a lot of volumes. I don't think a lot of people sort of expected them to make it this far or to have a record like they're having so far, Pat. And congratulations to them so far. They're doing it big. Maybe it's because we started the Roar this year that made like a big difference. Because think about it, like swimming and diving, they did their thing, and now our women's lacrosse team is doing their thing. So I don't know. Maybe it's a Roar thing. Whenever we show up at these get-togethers.
Yeah. So we'll be here next year. So continuing success.
Oh yeah, more success.
Yep.
So they played Bryn Athens this past weekend on April 16th, which was a Saturday. It was nice and sunny and beautiful up here in Casanova, New York, at Chris Staples Field. I know a lot of people turned out for it. Unfortunately, their stats were not up for this game yet. But we do know that they did get a win. The final score was 5-15 in favor of our women's lacrosse team.
That's a good win for us. We've been winning like that convincingly all along. And, Bryn Athens one of the lower teams in this conference, but still, that's a convincing win for us.
Oh, yeah. Definitely puts it, especially when you have a big score gap like that. That's a 10-point lead. And if I'm correct, Pat, correct me if I'm wrong, but once they get a 10-point lead, they just sort of run the clock. So they managed to do that, so I'm pretty sure the clock was running and was definitely in favor of our Wildcats.
It's a much quicker game, which is good for fans, people working the game.
Yeah, and I also think the athletes overall, too, and their feeling. You would hate to have the clock just sort of run on its usual time, which will allow for more points and sort of knock a team down. That's not what sports is about. It's about good, fun competitiveness across the board.
You got to get an easy win. I think that's what we did.
Yes, definitely. So then they go off to play Penn State Abington also here this past weekend on April 17th. The first half was all Cavs. They closed the first half of this game out 11-0. So Penn State Abington didn't get to score at all until the second half. That's how big of a distance they was able to keep them. Shooters for this half, I should say, was Caitlin Shepard, who would shoot twice, score a goal twice as well, I should say. Hannah Delaware also scored 2 goals. Abby Webster scored 2 goals. Madeline Brand scored 2 goals, and Patricia Breen would score once. Erin Sweeney and Gianna Dixie, who is a freshman actually and plays attacks, she also managed to score 2. So I mean, that's a very big game. That was a big blowout sort of game in a way, and it was just the first half of it. Especially shout out to Gianna Dixie for getting that goal. I mean, as a freshman, I feel like it must.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this year, it seems like she's had a pretty decent year. I mean, scoring a couple goals here and there.
Yeah. All goals count, no matter what year you are. But I mean, it just speaks volumes. You know, a freshman is getting some time to sort of prove herself, not only to her coach, but also to her fellow teammates that, you know, she can handle that field lifestyle. And she's been able to do it, and she got a goal out of it. And I think that's the most important thing. That's the highest thing that they look for.
And she has 2 goals and 4 assists on the season, so terrific numbers for her.
Hey, nice start for her freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
So then we go into the second half against Penn State Abington. This is where they would get their only 2 goals for the day, which is from Michaela Mass and Chastity McLaurin of Penn State Abington. For Cavs, though, we would have Caitlin Shepard score 3 times in this half. Deja Warrens would score once. Alyssa Kistner scored. Marin Brown scored once. Ashley Isabella would also score once. And Madeline Brand would close it out, if I'm correct, with a score. Final score for that game was 19-2. And, I mean, that's a pretty good lineup. That's a nice size. I mean, not as many as our first half, but, I mean, it still is very good. It's definitely child of Caitlin Shepard. That gives her 5 goals for the game, for the day. And that's not even counting the number of assists. I know watching the game because I was there for the whole entire thing, and good thing I was. When Alyssa Kistner actually scored, I think the assist for that one went to Caitlin Shepard. And watching Caitlin get some of these assists speaks back to her interview that we had with her, in which she said, you know, she would rather have more assists than goals at the end of like every season that she plays, because she loves working with the team. She's very big on team participation, team play, or whatever. So, you know, definitely shout outs to her. And I just want to ask you a question, Pat. You know, looking at how our women's lacrosse team overall is looking, I know this sort of has been up for debate or sort of talk around campus. When you look at our sports team and their interaction with each other, you know, off the field or whatever, I sort of think our women's lacrosse team in swimming and diving sort of do it the best when it comes to team bonding and interaction. And I think that's what speaks a lot of volumes to a lot of these games, which is why those teams have had good seasons overall.
Yeah, I mean, very team-oriented. One of the things that we like to do here with our show is we do a Twitter poll, and every time we put a women's lacrosse player up there, she gets votes like there's no tomorrow. Her whole team comes out and votes.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean,
then they retweet it, too, so then, like, their friends and family who aren't here at CAS or really know what goes on, they see it, and then they can also, you know, favorite, you know.
And it's funny because we put up other team sports, and they get 5-6 votes, and the women's lacrosse averages 20 votes
I think Dylan Dombrowski, I think, is the second.
Yeah.
To only get the closest.
I mean, equine and women's lax, they tend to go out, where some of our other sports, I mean, they like to keep themselves more up, which that's not exactly a bad thing. I mean, that keeps them internally, their core is there, but we like to see more outlook from your team, and right now women's lacrosse is taking that.
Oh yeah, they definitely are taking that. They're definitely family strong oriented, and I think that's what sort of has helped them too. They managed to keep themselves motivated throughout this whole entire process. You know, whether the games are close, like their Mooresville game was a very close game, and I'm pretty sure if it wasn't for the fact that they have that great team strength amongst each other and bond amongst each other, you know, and motivated, they were motivating each other. They said when it got to overtime, you know, they were sort of tired and sort of out of it, but you know, they were like, hey, yo, we're here to play, and you know, we're ready to take them out, and that's what they do. So I think that goes a long way with a lot of our sports team.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, so to preview the upcoming game for our women's lacrosse team, they will be away this good old weekend. They will be at Wells first, in which Wells currently sits at 2-9, and in conference are 2-4. They're currently on a 2-game losing streak. Their home games, they're 1-5. Their away games, they're 1-4. So, I mean, doesn't speak much. I mean, this is going to be a pretty, I think, sort of smooth sailing game.
Yeah, it should be.
Unless something miraculously happens, which is why I don't really want to talk about it too much, because, you know, anything can happen. You know, it's not over until the clock buzzes and the final score is put up.
Very true.
So, But Wells is looking to be a smooth sailing a little bit for our women's lacrosse team. Then they have to head over and play Lancaster Bible, which I think has sort of in recent years become one of our sort of rivals in a way.
Yeah, a lot south rival.
Oh yeah,
Still.
definitely. I mean, you're going to touch on Lancaster Bible, I know, in the baseball segment because baseball just recently played them, and now our women's lacrosse team are going down to play Lancaster Bible. Lancaster Bible currently sits overall 8-5. In conference, they are 4-2. They're currently on a 4-game win streak. At home, they are 4-2, and away they are 4-3. So Lancaster Bible is definitely going to be one they can't just like walk through smoothly. It's definitely going to be a game that's going to put them on their toes. I mean, with the motivation our women's lacrosse team is going in with, probably, I mean, it's going to be a good game. Pretty sure they're going to be hyped. Hopefully the weather is nice so they can play comfortably, you know, do their thing, go out on the field, walk away, handle business.
Yeah, and I mean, they've played some of the same teams we have. I'm just looking at their schedule here. They beat Cuca pretty convincingly like we did. So, I mean, right now, they look about the same way we do. I mean, they have a couple more losses in conference, but they've played tougher teams. And so I think it's going to be pretty even. I'm looking for this one to be the statement win to follow up the Cuca and Morrisville wins. That pretty much just puts us in a good position to match SUNY Poly, which will be our hardest game. They're the top dog right now in women's lacrosse. And I think with this win, that puts us on collision course with them, and we're ready to take them on.
Well, yeah, I wonder if our women's lacrosse team is sort of looking forward to that. Or I think they might also just wait until after this weekend to really sort of more or less start looking towards that matchup with SUNY Poly with being number one.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's gonna be a good couple weeks here for our women's lacrosse team.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try and maybe catch some of their Lancaster Bible. I know I have other commitments for that day, but I'm definitely gonna try and keep up with their stats and see what's going on. Hopefully they play well. Definitely shout outs to them from the Roar. And then lastly, before they come home this past weekend, they will be playing at St. Elizabeth College. St. Elizabeth currently sits 1-9. They're 0-5 in conference. They're currently on a 6-game losing streak. They are 0-2 at home and 1-7 away. So, I mean, they're looking to walk away from St. Elizabeth. I mean, pretty well.
So definitely look out for the Lancaster Bible game. I mean,
that's definitely the big game of the week for them.
And I think these other two are games where they can focus on getting their stuff perfect for the SUNY Poly game. And they should walk away at least with 2 wins. We're hoping for a full 3. But definitely with 2 easy games.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And all 3 of these are a conference game, too. They play Wells Wednesday, April 20th at 4 p.m., and which they will be traveling away for. They play Lancaster Friday, April 22nd, which they will be traveling away for to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. That will be played at 4 p.m. too. And then they play College of St. Elizabeth before they come back home to good old Cazenovia. They'll be playing St. Elizabeth at 1 p.m. on Saturday, April 23rd, in Morristown, New Jersey. So, I mean, they have a pretty big traveling weekend. Do you think that might take a toll sort of on them? Or do you think because they have that break in between Wells and Lancaster, I mean, because they're going to go away on Wednesday, come back, and then they leave Friday, I want to say. I don't know how far Lancaster is, but I'm pretty sure they're going to leave early Friday.
Pennsylvania, yeah.
So get down there.
It's going to affect us, but I think our team travels very well. I think our fan section travels good. And just for those of you who are tuning in, this is WITC 88.9 at Cazenovia College, Cazenovia, New York. But anyways, I think we travel well, and that's not, I mean, it's a far trip, but it's not that far of a trip. I think our team bonds well. They're have very good team chemistry, so they'll be able to travel and go down and get a couple wins. So good luck to you guys over the weekend.
Yes, definitely. Good luck to our women's lacrosse team. So we're going to take a quick music break. You want to take a break? I mean, our guest, it's basically here. So,
yeah.
I mean, we can take a quick music break, and then we're going to have our wonderful guest come in from our women's lacrosse team, and she's going to speak. So it'll be fun. Stay tuned.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I have a special guest with me, and I'm really excited to have her here with me. So I'm going to go ahead and have her introduce herself.
Hi everyone, it's Abby Webster, just your senior women's lacrosse player. I play attack right now. I'm from Syracuse, New York, and I'm studying early childhood education here at CAS.
So Abby, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into the interview. I just want to ask you, when did your lacrosse career start?
No, we think all the way back. Alright, well, I started playing when I was about 10 years old. I saw all of my cousins were playing, and I was like, you know what? It kind of looks like fun. Let me just pick up a lacrosse stick and try it out. Which kind
How
of
long is
stunk for my family because my family was always like a baseball softball family. So when they were like, what do you do with a lacrosse stick? And I was like, I'm just gonna kind of try it out. And ever since then, it's just I've been playing in different summer leagues, different levels, and now I'm here at Cavs.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Definitely seeing it was almost as if it was like in your blood to sort of play. I feel like lacrosse then, if that's the case. And, I mean, all your cousins played, so it must have definitely been somewhere in the genes. So thus far, you guys are having an amazing season. I think it's one of the best seasons I've seen in my 3 years at Cavs. So how has it been so far with all you guys' wins and accomplishments this year?
Well, the season so far has just been full of surprises, as I'm sure, not only for our team, but like for the athletic department itself and the entire conference. I feel like we started the season with all of the rest of the conference thinking, oh, Casanova, they're all right. Like they're gonna end the season at in number 5 seed, and you know the team kind of took that to heart. We're like, seriously, number 5? Well, you know what? They don't know. We're just gonna prove them wrong. And look at us now. We beat Morrisville, we beat Cuca. We're coming in hot, and we're definitely going to keep it up. So we're definitely doing really well, and I hope to keep it up.
Yes, definitely. And Cuca and Morrisville are definitely in the top 3 of Casanova College's rivalry. So I'm pretty sure those are very good wins. I know I was there for the Morrisville game when you guys were at Morrisville's field, which I think made it even a little bit better because you got to beat them in front of their own home crowd. So definitely congratulations to you guys this season thus far. So you've been playing lacrosse for 4 years now, and you guys actually have a new coach. So what do you think of Coach Milmo? Because we had her in for an interview.
Oh, Millie, what to say about her? Well, being a senior and having a new coach, my thoughts are just great. A new coach, my last year, don't really know how it's going to go. So I kind of went into the season a little apprehensive. But looking at it now and getting to know Coach Milmo, she's such a great coach, and she knows the game of lacrosse so well, and she brings so many different background knowledge and skills to the game. And she definitely brought us together as a team, which is so helpful. So I love Millie, and she's so much fun to work with.
So what do you think so far of this year's new change to the field, in which you are now not only just sharing the field with the men's lacrosse team, but you're now also sharing it with the softball team? So what do you think about that?
Well, sharing with the guys lacrosse was already hard enough. Getting the time that we would have needed to get like an efficient practice in. You know, they would come out just as we were basically finishing our warm-ups and our conditioning. So by the time that was over, they're on the field, and we're like, well, we don't have the full field now, so what are we going to do? And then adding softball into the mix was definitely another hassle. I mean, not even just with the time, but with softball, they had to add all the new lines onto the field. So that definitely put some problems, but I think it's nice that, you know, softball has a field close to campus that they can use. And hopefully with this field, it'll give them more people to come out and see their games.
Definitely very big here at the Roar on supporting our athletes across the board, no matter what sport you play. If it's a good, nice, sunny day, always come out and show support for our athletes. So what do you think of the freshmen this year, since you're a senior?
Oh, the freshmen. Well, we have a pretty small freshman class. We only have, I believe, 3. And they all are just such different personalities that I feel like sometimes we have 10. But they're all just so different, but they bring so many different skills to the team, which is such a great thing. At first, they were all kind of quiet, and they were a little shy. But I feel like now, once you get them to start talking, sometimes you can't get them to shut up. Not that I don't love that freshman, I love you all. But like I said, they're definitely a great fit with the team, and they've just brought so many different things to this team that have helped us.
That's great. So now we're going to take a little detour from lacrosse, and I just want to know, do you have like a favorite warm-up song? Because, I mean, with you guys being very, good this season, I'm pretty sure you guys have been going to these games a little bit more hyped. So, do you have like a favorite warm-up song or a ritual that you do prior to every single game?
Well, some of my favorite warm-up songs for our home games, one of the songs that we walk out to is actually dedicated to our coach, Millie. It's a Millie by Lil Wayne. Also, one of the big songs that a lot of the girls are fans of now is Two Phones. Shout out to Lindsay Frederick. And then as far as like a pregame ritual, Ashley Isabella always brings some sort of speech to get us pumped up for this game. It could be one that she made up right on the spot or one that she's had prepared for months on end. But no matter what, they always get us hyped for this game.
That's great. Good sportsmanship across the board for our women's lacrosse team. So what's a fun fact about you, then, Abby, if I may ask?
You can ask, but I can't think of a fun fact. I don't know. Whenever we had to think of a fun fact to put like on the website with our roster, I just always ask somebody to shout out a random one. Last year, I believe it was freestyle rapping. This year, it's beatboxing. None of those are true, though.
So you're very good at having your other teammates help support you when it's time to come up with a fun fact. Can you drop a couple bars?
Oh, God. I'm going to say no.
Okay, I'm not going to have you do it, though. Maybe next time. So what is it like in the everyday life of you, Abby Webster? Because you're a student athlete, which is very big, and you're also a senior. So I know you have like capstone stuff you've been working on all year. So what's it like in the everyday life of Abby Webster?
Well,
I end up going to 5.
it's really not that exciting.
Maybe.
I mean, basically all I do is like, I wake up, I get ready for my day, I just go to my classes. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I only have one class from 9 to 10, so that leaves me a lot of free time during the day. And a lot of people would expect me to do work during that time of the day, but usually I take a nap. You know, gotta fuel yourself for practice later on in the day. And then just go to practice, come back, get cleaned up, maybe do a little bit of homework if I'm feeling ambitious. But other than that, it's nothing really exciting.
I'm pretty sure they're a very fun person to work with. I'm pretty sure you find little small things to do in between your free time, you know, before you enter the real world. I must ask you though, I know you're a senior and your collegiate career is almost over, but you guys have many more to come. I know it's bittersweet, but do you have like a moment, like a really special moment you've had so far in playing lacrosse here at CAS?
Oh,
Or do you think that it's possible that it's like still to come maybe?
Well, I definitely feel it to come. I definitely feel like we're gonna go really far in our conference this year, and I feel like, you know, we might take the cake. But besides that, I would definitely say that this year alone with lacrosse has been memorable to say the least, just with beating Cuca, beating Morrisville. Those have been on my bucket list since day one. And now that we've accomplished those, I can definitely say that those are something that will be in the back of my mind for the rest of my life.
Okay, well, I'm definitely looking forward to see you guys' success and hopefully you coming across that big moment in your collegiate career here at CAS. So, lastly, before I let you go, 'cause I know you're a very busy person, what does the future hold for Abby Webster?
Oh, well, the future, I mean, that definitely starts in like 25 days when I walk across that stage. But ideally, I'd like to become a teacher of some sort, you know, use my education degree. But I don't really like to work with the little kids, you know, those little high school kids. Once they start talking back to you, I can only teach them, and once I teach, I can't smack them around. So, so I definitely want to work with those little kids, but that's it.
That's great. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to, and here at the World, we definitely want to wish you good luck in everything you have to come, the ending of your collegiate career, and whatever else you do in the future. I've known you now for about 2-3 years almost. I met you through a mutual friend, and I don't know, it's gonna be very weird and interesting not seeing you next year, like around campus. Like
Mutual friend.
I can't, but definitely want to thank you for coming in and doing this interview with us, Abby Webster. And good luck with everything that you have going on. So.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so welcome back to the Roar here. That was another very good interview done by our very own Kevin Ingram himself.
Pat behind the scenes asked me if I was the mutual friend when I told her that we met through a mutual friend. No, we're not the mutual friend.
I like to say that I like bringing people together, so...
I knew who Abby was before. Like, you didn't know I knew Abby, but I knew Abby before.
Oh, okay. Anyways, so now getting into baseball as we get to the second half of our show. They currently are 4-16 rather on the season, and an 0-6 conference record. So not the start we want for our team. They're supposed to play a game against DUville, but that was recently postponed. That's supposed to be on the 12th. Okay. And then we did actually play the game because now the snow is gone. Games are starting to happen. So they recapped the game against SUNY Canton. This was a 10-3 loss for our Wildcats. Some of the highlights, though, Dan Crozier went 1 for 4 with a double and an RBI. Taylor Inc. went 1 for 1 in his one at bat. He was a pinch hitter on the day. Chris Shad and Ryan Meyer each scored a run and went 1 for 2 and 1 for 4, respectively. Jake Vierno picked up the loss, but he only gave up 2 runs off of 4 hits on the day. It was his relief pitchers that gave him problems. But, I mean, the game was tied 3-3 going into the top of the 9th. The bad part happened in the top of the 9th when, unfortunately, our own Ryan Meyer gave up 7 unearned runs in the top of the 9th to give them the win. It was a hard-fought game by our Wildcats, and it was a rough way to start the week and to start going into our busy weekend that they had. So what do you think about this game, Kev?
You know, I thought there was a chance that this might happen. You know, they've had numerous games postponed due to weather issues, or Mother Nature's, I guess should say, you know. And I don't know. I sort of expected them to sort of come back a little bit clean. I definitely wanted like a better start after all this Mother Nature stuff that's been going on. But 10-3 loss is just it's not the best.
No, but it's not also the worst either. I mean, to be in a game all the way into the top of the 9th means something. And if we didn't have that last inning, it could have gone completely the other way. And so, I mean, that's just bad luck for this one. Their second game to start this weekend, where they played 6 games, all 3 were doubleheaders. The first one was against Summit University of Pennsylvania. First game was the 6-2 loss for Wildcats, but the second game, our one bright light for this hard weekend, was the 5-4 win in the second game. The first game, Ryan Meyer went 1 for 3 with a double. Dan Colburn went 2 for 3 with an RBI. Taylor Inc. had 1 RBI. And Dan Crozier had 1 scored run. Sean King picked up the loss on the day. He gave up 6 runs off 3 hits. But then as we go into the second game, this game, like you said, was the one shining moment for the whole thing, hinting at a little bit of NCAA March Madness with that. Chris Shad went 1 for 1 with a double. Jack Young had a double and a scored run. Dan Colburn, which we had on the show recently, went 2 for 3. But the freshman David Gabrielson, he was the real story on the day. He went 1 for 2 with a double and a scored run. That scored run was actually on a stolen base when he stole home to start the first run to get the game going. So shout out to him being a freshman to come and play so well. The Wildcats battled back from down 4. Like I said, the Gabrielson scored run really started us back on that. And I mean, that is a good way to end the day. I mean, to go into the first game, have a tough loss 6-2, come back, be down 4 runs in the second game, and to still battle back at the end of the day to come back and get that win. Jackson Segnet picked up the win, and Austin Mateo got the save. He pitched a third of an inning and got 1 strikeout. So really good numbers for him. So what do you think of this game, this whole series?
I'm definitely happy that they were able to bounce back after that first game and get that win, that 5-4 win. I mean, I think it speaks volumes to our Wildcats. You know, they always seem to pull good games from out of nowhere. And I mean, it speaks on their sportsmanship. Like, I wonder what was said or what happened in between that short little break of their doubleheaders that motivated them to go out and try and get that one in the second game. I mean, I wish it was both games they did win, though. You know, a good thing they did walk away with a win. And I'm happy. I wonder why they didn't just pick up the win in the first one. I wonder what it was.
I mean, it could have easily been the pitcher. I mean, he gave up only 8 hits and only 2 runs. I mean, he was he was more dominant than the second guy. But I mean, there's probably a lot of factors that come into it. This is a Friday afternoon game. You're thinking the week's over, and you gotta go play. Maybe something sparked. Maybe it was a pep talk. I mean, there's a lot of factors that could have happened, but still a good way to end the series. I mean, winning 1 out of 2 isn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
So then the second game on their schedule was the Lancaster Bible. The first game was a 10-8 loss. This was a final in 12 innings. Mike McCara led off the day, went 1 for 5 with an RBI. Josh Allen picked up 2 RBIs. Jack Young with 1. McCara with 1. Taylor Inc. and Ryan Meyer each with 1 RBI on the day. This was a good performance for us, even though the score doesn't show it. Chris Shad was the main pitcher on the day. He gave up 8 runs in 7 innings. Jackson Segnet, we just talked about him pitching well in the other game. He played pretty well for his last inning of pitch. Only gave up 2 runs to lose for them. So this wasn't a bad showing. I think what happened was we kind of fell apart in the last inning. They probably had a couple of hits back-to-back that really pushed them ahead. But then they go into the second game. This was a much different story. This one was a 13-3 loss for the Wildcats. As I'm pulling up stats now to look at. This one, I mean, we had a couple RBIs. Hunter Lucy, we don't mention his name too much, but he got in and had a good game. This, I think, I mean, you look at the stats for this, it was 4-1 after 3 innings. I think everyone started to get tired, and we started putting in our bench players, see what they could do. And, I mean, they showed up. They kept it a game. So
Tired. They went 12 innings in the first
Mhm.
inning. Tired. Oh,
So-
my God. I spoke to some of the baseball players after that, and I think they said that they didn't start the second game until, like, almost 8 or 9 at night. They said that they didn't get back on campus until, like, almost 1, or probably didn't even make it into bed until, like, almost 1. And you also have to take into consideration they also have to shower after, like, being in the dirt and stuff all day, and then prepare for the next day, you know.
Mhm.
And get back up. So I'm pretty sure tired is. I wonder why they didn't just like not play sort of the second game in a way. 12 innings and then going into the second one. By the time they went into the second one, it was dark out. And
Yeah, but you can't really push one back, though, because that might run into other stuff. Trying to reschedule one more game on top of the 5 or 6 they already have to do.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
But-
maybe if we didn't have so much of the Mother Nature problem, they maybe
Would've
would
been
have been able
different.
to finagle
Mhm.
something, but that probably is. They are running on a tight schedule. Our baseball
Yeah.
team.
So then the third game, this was on the Sunday, and this day was not very fair for our team either. Gallaudet ended up pushing across 30 runs in combined for the 2 games. It was an 18-9 loss the first game and 13-7 loss in the second. There's not really much you can say about these games. It wasn't a very good game on either one of them. So, I mean, we said that 1 win on the weekend, but it's hard to play all those games and only have 1 game that's positive. But I feel like they can bounce back from a tough weekend like this.
They can, but I actually attended their Lancaster game, and that was my first time this season. I was able to actually watch them and watch the freshmen sort of in action. And we have the talent. Don't get me wrong, we have very talented baseball players. It's just, for some strange reason, they just can never execute, and that goes a long way. Watching the Lancaster game, which I only was able to stay for their first game, and you know, they were up, and then they managed to tie it, and they were just repeatedly like knocking at like Lancaster's door, and they just were not able to like blow the door down. And I think Lancaster Bible, they got tired after a while too, but they somehow managed to keep on. Cass just couldn't just push right through, push one through. You know, they'll get bases loaded with 2 outs, and they just would sort of like not be able to deliver and get that one person home to close out the game.
Yeah.
So execution is a very big thing our baseball team sort of maybe needs to work with.
Yeah. So now as we go into the more preview side of their games, they play probably their hardest game they'll play all season tomorrow night. against Oswego State. They are 23-3 overall, 6-0 at home. They have 4 or 5 players all batting over 300. Their leading batter has 38 RBIs on the season.
Already?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, I mean, they've already played 26 games, and we've played 19. So, I mean, it's gonna be a much different sort of game, and it's the first of back-to-back on Wednesday and Thursday. So, what do you think about this game? Just looking at the numbers.
It's definitely going to be a big game that they're going to have to walk into. This is going to be a big one. I mean, hopefully they hold on, though. I
Yeah.
hope that they hold on. They manage to always, even if they take a loss, it's a surprise loss sometimes to some people because they manage to get more points than expected, you know. And maybe you never know what tomorrow might bring. They might go in after this tough weekend and just want to, like, plow through and just take on their opponent no matter what. So hopefully they have that motivation on their side and are prepared and excited to sort of go in and play. I mean, they won't be home, which I think is a tough part on their season because they can't have as many home crowd attendees as they would at games when they go away.
Yeah.
I traveled to Rome, which is like a good, I want to say about 30 minutes or so away. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't far, but it still sort of felt far, and they didn't have a lot of people there. And I know they like it when people come out and watch them play. I think it gives them a little bit more motivation and boost.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So then they play at SUNY Oneonta. This is the second game of the back-to-back. This is Thursday, April 21st. This team so far is 5-21 and 2-1 at home. This team's not as tough as the Oswego State. But do you think the team will look past this and focus more on conference play? Because these two are games out of conference and they don't meet as much.
No, I don't think they are. I think they just go in and play because they're sort of having a tough season. So I don't think they're going to look too much about that. They just are trying to get that motivation, I feel like, on their side to play, really.
Yeah. And then coming in for the weekend, they play Saturday and Sunday, both doubleheaders. They take a trip down to play both Penn State Abington and Penn State Berks. Abington is 16-17 overall, and Berks is 16-8. Both these teams are fairly good at home. These are, I believe, some of the top teams in their conference right now are Berks and Abington. They are. They're both 6-2 in conference. So, I mean, these are the games that if we really want to make a statement and make a run here at the end, we got to at least compete in these two. But it's going to be a tough trip down there. We said our women's lacrosse team travels well. This team is on the other end of that. They don't travel as well. But we hope that you guys can go down there and get a couple wins, meaning our baseball team. So what do you think about this weekend coming up for
It's going to be a very
Wildcats?
busy weekend for them. I think their schedule is really going to trip them out because on top of just baseball alone, you have to remember that there's students at that, and we're coming into finals week or big projects and presentations that I do. So I think that's going to also take a toll because, you know, they're sitting around doing their work, and then they have to go to practice, and then somewhere in the middle of all that, get some eat and sleep, and, you know, and then prepare for that mindset of playing games, because I totally different mindset than when you're just writing paper or working on a project or being in class, you know. So hopefully they can get it together. I really hope they do. They're very good, talented athletes in baseball. They just have to put the pieces together and just make a good outcome out of it.
Yeah. So with that, we're going to have a short music break. Kevin's got a nice short song before we get into softball.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break and then finish up with softball on today's Roar episode, so stay tuned.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Roar. Now we're going to touch on softball and their season. I think softball is really excited to have a turf field and be able to say that they play at home. I think they're really excited about that, Pat.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I think even having somewhere that they can call their own and practice out there and play out there, that's really cool for them.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All right, so with softball, I'm going to recap all of their doubleheaders for this past week. They played SUNY Cobleskill. They played at CUNY Cobleskill, actually, on April 13th. First game, Kathleen Kellenbrook, only person to get a run for this game. Rebecca Nicolelli got 2 hits. Kelsey Schutte got 1 hit. Amanda Brand got 1 hit and RBI. The win for this game will go to Kelsey Morgan. She is currently 3-3, who pitched for 7 innings and gave up 4 hits. The final score was 1-0 in favor of Kaz. In the second game, this was nothing like the first game, though. Runners for this game, Samantha McCarthy had 4. Rebecca Nicolelli had 3 runs. Alex Canal had 2 runs. Kelsey Schutte had 1 run. Kathleen Hellenbeck had 2. Ashley Morgan had 1, and Angelica Clark had 2. Kelsey Schutte is 3-2 now, and she gets the win. She pitched for 5 innings and only allowed 4 hits. And in the final score of game number 2 was actually 15-0 in favor of Cavs. What do you think about that, Pat? That their first game would just go from 1-0 win for Cavs and then a 15-0 win.
That's a huge jump. I don't know what happened between the first and second game. I don't know if the first team didn't even show up for the first one. But I mean, 1-0 to 15-0. Something must have happened. We had Coach Camino come in, and he must have had a great speech between the two. That's all I can think, because that's almost physically impossible to go from 2 extremes. 1-0, easy, or a hard win for us, to a nice, easy flowing 15-0. So a huge difference.
Oh yeah, definitely. So now we're going to touch on the game at Morrisville, which was on April 16th. Game 1, Brooke Targis hit a single to right center RBI. She managed to get an RBI. Metakovic managed to score. I said her last name correct, right, Pat?
Yeah.
Metakovic.
Yep, you wrote it right.
Grounded out to third base in the 7th inning. She had an RBI. Schutte advanced to third. Canal scored. Kelsey Morgan took the loss for that day. She was 3-4 at that time, and pitched for 6 innings and allowed 7 hits and 3 runs. Final score for that game was 2-3 in favor of Morrisville. For game 2, though, Kathleen Kellenbeck got 2 runs. Amanda Brand got 3 runs. Lauren Medovic got 1 run, and Marissa Scarcella got 1 run. Kelsey Schutte would pick up the win in that game, making her 4-2. She pitched for 7 innings, allowed 9 hits, 3 runs, and had 3 errors only. Final score for that game was 7-3 in favor of our Wildcats. What do you think about those games when our athletes do that with these doubleheaders?
Yeah.
Either getting a loss then a win, or a win then a loss, or...
Well, see, I was at these 2 games watching them, and I actually made a trip out to Morrisville to watch. And I mean, the first one, we were in the game for most of the game. It was a timely hit by one of Morrisville's players that ended the game for them. It was back and forth the whole way. It was actually what I call the pitching duo for the game, because Morgan and I forget what their pitcher's name was for Morrisville, but they were back and forth the whole game, and it came down to one play where the player just knocked it over second baseman's head, and that ended the game for the Wildcats. But I mean, the second game, we came out fired up. Like you said, we had a bunch of runs, ended up being 7-3. It was just timely hitting all the way through from our Wildcats. So,
and sometimes that's all that is the result as is, just because it's timing. Timing plays a very big key role.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then we played SUNY Canton at home on April 17th. That too was a doubleheader. Game 1, Cavs had the momentum. Rebecca Nicolelli, Alex Canal, Kathleen Kellenbeck, Laura Medovic, Amanda Brand, Marissa Scarcella, Ashley Morgan, and Samantha McCarthy played very well in this game. Kelsey Schutte would pick up the win for that one, making her 5-2 at the time. She pitched for 7 innings and had 9 hits and gave up 2 runs. SUNY Canton Miss Charlo would end up taking a loss. She became 3-5 at that time. She pitched for 2.2 innings, allowed 10 hits, and gave up 5 runs and had 6 errors in her own right. Miss Padecco, I wonder how you say some of these names. When we come across
Podlatic.
Podlatic.
Yes.
Sorry, Miss Podolletic, if we said your last name wrong. But she came in and pitched. She pitched for a 3.1, gave up 4 hits and allowed 2 runs. The final score will be 8-3 in the first game in favor of our Wildcats. Listen here, last names are sort of tough when you have extra syllables and non-letters and who knows what else going on. It's a pronunciation of it. In game 2, this game went in a different direction in which Alyssa Connor was the only person to get a run for Cavs. SUNY Canton, Miss Solomon, Miss Yetter, and Miss Osant would manage to get a run. The win would go to Miss here we go with the last name again. Podolletic.
Yeah,
Podolletic. That sounds a little bit better. Podolletic. Ended up picking up the win, making her 5-4 at the time. She pitched for 7 innings. Gave up 6 hits, 1 run. Our loss will go to our Wildcat, Kelsey Morgan, who at the time will become 3-5. And she pitched for 7 innings, allowed 8 hits, 3 runs. Final score was 1-3 in favor of SUNY Canton in game number 2. So, I mean, wasn't a bad day. 1 win, 1 loss. Okay, way to walk away. And it wasn't even a bad loss. It was only a 2-point gap in between the two, whereas in the other one, it was a 5 gap. About a 5 gap difference between the two. So, I mean, our Wildcats still was able to hold on for that game. So, we're going to preview all their upcoming games, which are all doubleheaders, too. They play at SUNY IT on April 20th. Currently, SUNY IT sits at 7-11. They're 3-3 in conference. They're currently on a 1-game losing streak. They're 1-7 away, 0-0 at home, and they're 6-4 when it comes to neutral. They've allowed 69 runs so far and only have managed to obtain 3 home runs overall. So what do you think about our Wildcats going into this SUNY IT game, Pat?
Well, I mean, just looking at their record so far, they haven't played a game at home yet, and I think that's going to be really hard because they're basically homecoming, quote-unquote. So it's going to be hard for us to go there and pick up a win because they're going to be fired up. But I feel like this should be, by their record and by how many runs they've scored, and our team has been on a tear as of late. I mean, they keep winning 1 out of 2 of these games, but they're at least in the second game. So I think this game, especially next coming up, should be pretty fair for us, I would say. Yeah. We have a good shot at winning them.
Possibly. We're going to have to see and watch what happens. Maybe watch the live stats, what goes down. Then they play at Skidmore on April 21st. Currently, Skidmore sits at 10-20. In conference, they are 2-4. They're currently on a 1-game winning streak. They're 2-6 at home, 3-7 away, and they're 5-7 when it comes to neutral, Pat. So I think this game is going to be, I don't know, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be sort of down the middle when it comes to Skidmore. We currently sit at 9-9, and we're 4-2 in conference on a 1-game losing streak. So, I mean, this
about
one,
the same level.
Yeah, about the same level. So I think it's going to be a fair matchup. Well, at the end of the day, it's going to come down who's going to get the better of the doubleheader game. And then they play Penn Tech. They play Penn Tech on April 22nd, and they play them on April 23rd. Currently, Penn Tech sits at 11-8. In conference, they are 5-1. They're currently on a 1-game winning streak. They're 5-3 at home, 2-1 away, and they're 4-4 in neutral. So I think it's safe to say Penn Tech is going to be a challenge for our Wildcats a little bit. For the simple fact that they're currently sitting at 5-1 in conference, which is a lot of motivation when going into games against opponents.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially because I'm looking at this one and the Cuca games coming up, which we're going to preview in a second. These are the top 2 squads in their conference, so it's going to be hard to match up against these teams. And I mean, we hope for the best out of these ones. We hope we at least compete in there because this is going to show how far we've come along with softball. And I think we're at that level now where we can compete with these tough teams, and this will prove it.
Oh yeah, and I think our freshmen is going to play a big part too because they've been playing a very big part in these last few games we'll be talking about when it comes to some of these wins. Our freshmen are really doing big things. I think out of all of our sports team, I think softball team, their freshmen are definitely coming in really good and better than expected. Very highly better than expected. So now they play Cuca. They play at Cuca on April 24th, but then they play Cuca here at Cavs on April 25th. And currently, Cuca sits at 8-6. In conference, they're 6-0. Currently on a 4-game winning streak. They have to play 1 game before they come meet us. At home, they are 5-1. Away, they are 2-2. They are 1-3 in a neutral. They currently have 56 runs under their belt and have managed to obtain 5 home runs. So, like you said, Pat, Cuca is definitely going to be that big game for them to try and achieve. And,
definitely.
Get over that hurdle a little bit. But anything's possible. Our women's lacrosse team beat Cuca, so maybe our softball team might do the same thing. And, I don't think, maybe our softball team, our women's lacrosse team might be able to come out and show support. Or I think they might also be away that day too. But
especially the home one. I mean, the one away is going to be hard to get to, but I think this should be good games.
Oh, yeah,
I think our team is good enough, like you say, with the freshmen, the pitching staff we have. We're ready to compete with the best of the best. This is our time to show. I mean, these next 4 games are going to be against the best of the best.
Yeah, it's been a really pretty big change round with our season overall against some of our rivals with the wins that we've managed to obtain. We've managed to sort of shock, I think, everybody in other sports departments across the board.
Just say it, Kev. Shock the nation.
Shock the nation. So we just shocked our region.
Yeah,
our division.
Shock the conference.
Yeah, that's definitely what we did. Oh, I mean, so far our sports team are doing good. We're definitely going to keep an eye out for them and what's to come of them. Definitely going to tweet about it. We always tweet about it, especially on big game days. I know our women's lacrosse team, they definitely tweet a lot when they're going into games. Once they wake up and we retweet it and we see everything and we try and upload pictures. So, hey, it's going to be a good old weekend out and about on the road. So.
All right, so we're going to have our last quick little break before we fully wrap up this show. And I'm going to take over the main mic to fully close. And we're going to touch on our next 2 weeks coming up as well. So,
yep, stay tuned.
Kevin ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so welcome back. Kevin's still singing over there. Now, usually we have the Paw or Nah segment to close out this special. But in lieu of time, Kevin said he's got to get to class because he values his education. So we're going to skip over that. We apologize to any cab faithful. We really hope you guys go out to these events because they do a lot of work and very good job of getting good events to come on campus.
Just to shout out real quick what they have coming up is Walmart at 3 on April 20th. They have Pet Mobile, which I'm pretty sure is going to be a lot of fun, especially with the stressful week that's been going on. That's at 3, and that's on April 22nd, Pet Mobile. Upcoming Wildcat Week is April 25th through April 29th. That will be coming up. And then, of course, our men's lacrosse team will be playing at home on April 20th against Mooresville, Route 20 rivalry. We have softball playing Pintech on April 22nd and 23rd here at home. And then closing out the week will be Cuca and our softball team meeting up on April 25th. So definitely check them out.
Okay. So now, without further ado, here is Kevin's 30 seconds of airtime.
Oh, yeah. So for 30 seconds, I think I just want to shout out our upcoming special that's coming up. You want to just talk about the special?
Yeah.
For my 20 seconds?
So what is basically going on is we had an idea that was actually Kevin's idea, so props to him, where we wanted to have, because we started in February 9th with our first episode. Not really. But anyways, they're all blended together now. But anyways, we haven't touched much on soccer and volleyball. We've only touched a little bit on basketball and whatnot. But we haven't touched on their seniors that much. So what we want to do is bring in all the seniors the next 2 weeks to interview. So it's nothing but interviews. If you guys like interviews, you're going to want to tune in those weeks. We're going to kind of recap what's going on with the sports. We might just give you guys records. Yeah. But we won't go fully in depth with them like we have been. Instead, we're just going to do nothing but interviews. We have, I believe, 12 lined up for each day on the next 2 weeks. We have all the way from soccer to volleyball, all the way through lacrosses and basketballs. So you will want to see this. You won't want to miss it. So with that, we're going to wrap up this week's episode. We want to thank...
Are you excited for next week?
Oh, yeah. Very excited. We've been planning this for a couple weeks. We hope that you guys like this as much as we will.
Yeah. Pretty sure our athletes are going to enjoy it. They're going to like it. So.
And athletes that haven't been on the show yet, we're having all new guests. So definitely tune in next week. It'll be same time as today. We might go a little longer just because we want to do all the interviews. But anyways, we want to thank all of our listeners for coming in and sitting with us for this long 2 hours. And we want to say good luck to all the teams in the upcoming week. And we are continuing with the Twitter page. So if you guys want hints about who's coming in the next 2 weeks, you can get on there. We'll also put a poll up with the Athlete of the Week as well. We've had good numbers on that. Congratulations to Mackenzie Brissett, who won this past week. She got the game-winning goal, if you remember right, against Morrisville. So props to her. She blew out our competition in the game and in this poll. So good job for her. And we also will use a Twitter page to drop pictures and stuff that we are at the events. We are there. We'll take pictures to make sure you guys know we're there. So if you see us walking around, stop and say hi. We're not there. We're there watching. We're there supporting. So say hi to me and Kev when we're there.
Yeah, we always try. We're two very busy people, but I know me and Pat always look forward to going out. Not because we're just the Roar, but we also have friends that play in these.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of these teams that we talk about on our regular. So we always try and go out and support them across the board. Even if I wasn't here at the Roar, I still would be there. And it's a lot of fun going out to these games.
Yeah, definitely. So like I said, good luck to all of our teams. We have men's lacrosse playing some tough games. Women's lacrosse having a tough weekend. And baseball and softball getting all their games back in. So without further ado, Kev, do you have any last bits you want to add?
Yeah, I hope these next few days are not stressful on everybody. 'Cause I know everybody's sort of stressed out with senior projects and just final projects overall. And, good luck to all of our sports team. And also shout out again, Tati, for coming in today. And look out for that mixtape,
Oh, yeah,
definitely going to be looking forward to it. We're definitely going to shout out on our Twitter page and going to look forward to hearing that.
And we'll play nothing but her music on the next episode when that drops. That might be our spacer in between the interviews. It'll be nothing but Tati's mixtape.
Yeah, we're going to have to figure out how we can do that.
True.
We still got FCC rules to follow.
True.
So we'll see how that goes.
But anyways.
I'm definitely going to play one of her records, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to play one of her records.
Definitely.
Look out for it.
True. Okay, so without further ado then, I'm done talking. I think Kevin's all wrapped up. So,
class time.
So now we're going on our 7-day break where we figure out the next 2 weeks. So we'll see you next week, same time, same place.
Yep.
See you later.
See you later.